This is Valley News Live at 6.
The fallout continues following the Fargo School Board's decision to require masks for the upcoming school year.
Getting underway right now, homeschoolers are providing information to parents who are looking for alternatives. Valley News Team's JC Dodd joins us live with details. JC?
Mike, Stacy, I'm here at Northport Library in North Fargo, where the Homeschooling 101 event just kicked off. As parents continue to assess their choices after the school board's decision earlier this week, homeschooling has become a viable option for some. The homeschooling community is offering advice and help to those seriously considering, and based on what we've seen on social media, there is plenty of interest in the idea. Here shortly, I'm hoping to head in there and talk to some parents and some homeschoolers about the hurdles they must clear. You can catch that tonight live on Valley News Live at 9 and 10. For now, in North Fargo, JC Dodd, Valley News Live.
Thanks so much, JC. The Fargo School District, meanwhile, responding tonight to the criticism and questions from parents after making masks mandatory in the school year, regardless of vaccination status.
Both West Fargo and Moorhead schools continue to say masks will be optional for their students. Several of you have reached out to us in the last 48 hours with your questions for school leaders. Valley News Team's Bailey Hurley has your answers.
The number one question Fargo Public School parents have is just how long is this mask mandate going to last?
What's in place today might not be in place tomorrow. Our job is to respond to the data and to the science and to the guidance that we receive.
The second most asked question, what if my kids don't want to wear a mask and show up without one?
Without a medical exemption may put them in a situation where they have to quarantine, and that goes against what we all want, which is our students to be in school.
Dr. Gandhi went on to say those without a mask will be provided one, and says reoccurring noncompliance will be dealt with on a case-by-case basis, saying there's not a specific disciplinary action plan in place.
Please don't put your students in a situation where they may be at conflict with school policies.
The third most asked question is why weren't parents given any surveys like West Fargo families were? Gandhi says he chose not to send one in an effort not to mislead anyone, as there was a, quote, wide variety of factors the board weighed before their votes. He says it's important to remember this year is not last year, saying as of now there will not be a COVID-19 committee, and says students will not have restricted access to their lockers. Gandhi adds while he knows there are high emotions on both sides, he reminds parents and students to be respectful and kind to teachers and staff at each school, as the decision to mandate masks is much bigger than them.
They want what's best for all of our students, and I really hope that parents don't challenge them because they're just doing what the district office and the Board of Education has asked them to do.
Bailey Hurley, Valley News Live.
Dr. Gandhi says enrollment numbers are always fluctuating, and they can't say if there's been an increase or decrease in students specifically because of the board's decision. Gandhi also says it's not yet decided what will be required of opposing sports teams when playing at a Fargo public school facility.
Starting Monday, Minnesota State University Moorhead will require all students, faculty, staff, and visitors to wear a mask in indoor settings. The masking requirement will remain in place until further notice. The school says it'll reevaluate when Clay County is in the low or moderate transmission level for 14 consecutive days. No let-up in sight regarding the extreme dry conditions throughout the Red River Valley and beyond. Let's find out from Hutch what, if any, relief is out there. Hutch?
Mike, thanks so much. Crispy grass here in the FM area, and our conditions just continue to deteriorate. Exceptional drought expanding across northwest Minnesota for the first time ever since they've been keeping track of what we call the drought monitor. Here's the tale of the numbers. First and foremost, Fargo's seasonal moisture were 4 inches below average for this time of the summer season, but almost 8 1/3 inches below average for the year. Grand Forks very dry as well. As that trend continues, here's a look at where we sat last week, and watch the drought expand to the dark red colors in northwest Minnesota's area here. Now, where you see that, basically from the Crookston area, northern parts of Norman County, all the way up into International Falls, that drought has really expanded. And northern parts of the FM area getting zilch as far as moisture the last several days. A little bit more just south of the FM area. A cool northwesterly flow tonight. Clear skies. That's good news if you want to get out and view the meteor showers tonight. How cool? I'll have hour-by-hour details on a very refreshing start to your Friday here in just a couple of minutes.
That's one word to use.
It is.
All right, thanks.
The nation's top agriculture official is now chiming in on Minnesota's drought conditions. The Ag Secretary spent the day in Cannon Falls with Senator Amy Klobuchar and other lawmakers. New drought numbers show 42% of Minnesota is under extreme dry conditions. That number is up from 35% just last week. Senator Klobuchar says even though there could be long-lasting impacts on farmers, she's focusing on what's happening right now.
That's what we're here about, is making sure that our farmers and ranchers in all Minnesota know there's the long-term game where we've got to make some major changes to the programs, but there's a short-term here and now, because we want to continue Minnesota's preeminent ranching and the work that we do and how we get food to the rest of the world.
The U.S. Drought Monitor puts the population in drought areas at more than 5 million people.
The head of the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers was in the area today reviewing work on the FM diversion. He was joined by U.S. Senator John Hoeven of North Dakota, who spent the morning looking over the 30-mile project. The goal of the FM diversion is to reduce the flood risk to more than 200,000 people in the FM metro.
Last I checked with the mayors, and they are in charge, as you know, they're telling me they want this thing done in 2026. And we do too, because that saves our people money out here. That means they don't have to be buying flood insurance.
Construction on the diversion channel will begin next spring.
Cass County is now designated as having a high COVID-19 transmission rate. Fargo-Cass Public Health made that announcement today. The color-coded map from the CDC shows Cass County in the red, which means high. Over in Minnesota, Marshall and Norman counties designated also having a high transmission rate, while Polk and Clay counties are orange, which means substantial. Fargo-Cass Public Health also says the Delta variant is likely the predominant trait in North Dakota.
There's a COVID treatment that's keeping some Minnesotans staying out of the hospital. When former President Donald Trump tested positive for COVID-19, he received the monoclonal antibodies, which got emergency use authorization from the FDA. The federal government is fronting that cost so Minnesotans can access it practically for free. But if you have to be eligible for the treatment, you can find more information on that on the Minnesota Department of Health's website. And tonight on Valley News Live at 9 and 10, we'll explain how the treatment works.
Governor Walz announced today that Minnesota has surpassed 70% of people 16 years of age and older with at least one COVID-19 vaccine dose. Health officials also say they've administered more than 6 million total doses in the state, according to the governor's office. The number of first doses administered per week is up 129% from just a month ago. Back on July 1st, Governor Walz announced that Minnesota surpassed 70% of adults 18 and older with at least one COVID-19 vaccine dose. Meanwhile, in North Dakota, the Department of Health says 50.5% of people ages 12 and up have gotten at least one dose of the vaccine. 53% of those 18 and older also got one dose, while 76% of seniors have gotten at least one shot. Health officials say more than 659,000 doses have been administered so far.
Dry conditions have kept the mosquito population in check. However, later on Valley News Live at 6, the story of a father who nearly died from West Nile virus.
And as mentioned, a good night tonight with clear skies for the Perseid meteor showers. Still some pretty good viewing after midnight. Look straight up, trying to get away from those city lights. And this is what we saw last night from the Grand Forks area. Look at the stars spinning. A couple of flashes over there that may just have been meteors. Your forecast is next.